Yeah, with your junior career growing up and as you went on through the ranks and it sort of became a bit more serious for you and you thought about obviously playing football NRL level, was there any junior rep footy involved for yourself?
Yeah, a little bit. It was quite brief my junior career, I think. Like I was sort of a late bloomer in that sense. Didn't make Haromats, so tried out for Eels, tried out for like all the sort of like local teams like Roosters and I think like North Sydney Bears were there at the time and stuff like that. So tried out for like pretty much any open trial that was available and obviously the Parramatta trial, which I was invited to. But yeah, didn't make it to Harold Mats. And then sort of like ended up playing SG ball for my year. And then yeah, just sort of flowed into 20s. To be honest, I was sort of one of the last picked in my actually in the squad for 20s when I came up. Yeah, so definitely sort of think that I was a bit of a late bloom. I didn't play like schoolboys or anything like that. And yeah, so it wasn't like the typical went through like played Australian schoolboys or like sort of started Haramats early or played up early or anything like that. Yeah, a bit of a late bloomer in that sense.
It's a good story then because I think a lot of players coming through the ranks feel like if you're not making every single rep team or not making every single Harold Matts team and things like that, you basically can't make it. But you're obviously showing there just persistence is key, I guess, and training things like that.
Yeah, 100%. And I think there's a lot of like emphasis placed on like the rep squads and especially like when you're younger. Like I remember not making Harold Mats and thinking like it was the end of the world. Like, oh, I'm never going to make first grade if I can't make Harold Mats. And but realistically, if I look back and look at like the 20s team that came through and sort of played for Parramatta, majority of the people that played Haramats didn't even go through to, you know what I mean? They sort of fizzled out. Or a lot of people sort of caught up to them as well in like size and stuff like that as well. Like it's too young when you're 16 to say that like someone's going to be the next big thing or to say that you're not going to make it. Yeah, 16 is just too young. Like you haven't fully developed yet. Plus, you haven't got to that stage where you turn 18 and then like girls start becoming in the mix and then drinking starts becoming in the mix and partying. So like you definitely have to have a certain mentality. You can have all the talent in the world, but there has to be a certain mentality where you can block out that external noise as well. And if you can't do that, as I said, you can have all the talent in the world. Like I know so many players that were, if you've seen them play, they'd be much better than what I was when I was sort of that age. But yeah, some people just get caught up in the wrong crowd and doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, you talk about there in being ready sort of for those rep teams, and you're still learning at that age as well. I think a lot of people forget that. Like you watch the commentary, you hear and talk about you're really at your peak once you hit about 26, 27, 28, and that's a
Mm.
sort of peak rugby league career anyway. So when you're making those junior footy, you're still like a sponge